Welcome back, bearer of Aries fire. Before we begin, take a moment, breathe in, slowly, and notice how the air around you feels different tonight. Something is moving, quietly, almost unseen, as if the universe itself is leaning closer, to whisper a secret meant only for your soul. Sometimes the greatest changes in life don't arrive with noise, but with stillness, a sacred pause, heavy with knowing. That feeling deep inside when you can't explain it, but somehow you just know something is about to shift, and right now, if you can hear this voice, that's not coincidence. You were guided here to receive a message, a divine warning, a truth ready to be revealed, and the beginning of a journey of light that your spirit has been waiting for. Aries, sometimes life doesn't knock with thunder. It comes as a breath that brushes gently against your skin. It arrives in the way someone's eyes linger a moment longer than usual, in a dream that refuses to fade, in that quiet, knowing deep inside you that something is shifting, silently but surely. These moments aren't random, they're how the universe speaks, whispering, "I'm preparing you for a new chapter." Every soul has a moment like that, when time seems to stop, when the noise of the world fades into the distance, and you find yourself standing between two breaths, one that belongs to the past that's closing, and one that belongs to the future now unfolding. In that space, everything familiar feels fragile, but through those cracks, the first rays of light begin to pour in. You may not notice it, but it's within this stillness that the greatest changes are being written. It's the moment you start trusting your intuition more than the voices around you. You begin to understand that the universe rarely speaks in words. It speaks through synchronicities, a number that repeats, a song that plays at just the right time, a passing phrase that makes you shiver because somehow it feels meant for you. There's an old saying, "It's darkest before the dawn." Maybe you've lived through nights like that. Long, uncertain nights when you didn't know where you were heading, questions with no answers, tears falling quietly in the dark. But deep inside that loneliness, a seed of light was planted, and now it's breaking through. Let your heart be soft, like water. Let it receive what's coming without fear. Don't try to predict or control, just watch, as if you're witnessing the universe, reweaving the thread of your own life. You'll see, every fall, every heartbreak, was never a punishment. It was a stroke of color in this larger painting being revealed. If you're hearing this now, it's because you can already feel that shift in the air, gentle but deep. That's the first sign. Trust that you're not lost. Everything is simply aligning, so that the light can find you more easily. And soon, you'll realize that the whispers around you aren't noise anymore. They're recognition, a sign that you're being noticed, being called by something higher. That's the moment your soul knows you're standing before a new door. So don't rush for answers. Just be still, breathe deeply, and know that everything you once prayed for is already moving toward you, step by step, breath by breath. And then, within that stillness, you'll start to see the first signs appear, small, delicate, but enough to make your heart tremble. An unexpected message, a coincidence that defies reason, a dream that repeats. And in that moment, you'll understand, this is your invitation to open your heart and listen. There are mornings when you wake into a strange kind of silence. No cars, no voices calling your name, just a softness in the air, so gentle that you can hear your own heartbeat. And in that quiet, you might feel something else, a stillness that carries a sacred weight, as if the universe itself were standing right beside you, only one breath away. Signs rarely shout. They arrive like a light breeze brushing your wrist, a familiar song playing at the perfect moment, or a number repeating until your heart skips without knowing why. All of it is the language of energy, a way the universe speaks without words, heard only by those awake enough to listen. Many think signs are mystical, but in truth, they're woven into the ordinary. They hide in a glance that lingers a second longer, in a sudden calm amid the rush of the day. They are letters, written in light and silence, reminding you that you're being seen, heard, and loved. When you move too fast, you miss them. But when you slow down, you'll notice everything has its own language. The sound of wind through the leaves, the way sunlight bends across the room, even the dream that keeps coming back. Each one is saying the same thing. A door is about to open. Maybe lately you felt caught in the gray zone, not exactly happy, not exactly sad. But that in-between space is where the extraordinary takes shape, because before anything blooms, life always hides in silence. And you, even if you don't see it yet, are standing right on the edge of something beautiful. When the universe wants to speak, it doesn't shout. It changes the rhythm of the air around you, a random event, a chance meeting, a memory that wakes after years asleep, all of it weaving together into one quiet symphony. And if you truly listen, you'll realize that music is calling your name. People often say that life sends signs before it sends challenges. The trouble is, we're rarely still enough to hear them. Maybe this is your moment to pause, to look back and ask yourself, what keeps repeating lately? Who has reappeared and why? What inside you feels softer for no reason at all? Those questions are the map leading your soul toward the light. Not every sign is a miracle, but every miracle begins with a sign. The world is whispering that you're about to cross into a new chapter, where what once confused you will soon become clear as sunrise. When someone begins to see the signs, it means they're ready for change. And real change isn't a single event. It's the gentle process of learning to trust that everything happens for a reason, that you were never forgotten, and that sometimes silence is the universe's kindest answer. If right now life feels as if it's leading you softly, even when you don't know where it's going, let your heart stay open. Because peace doesn't come from knowing what's next, it comes from believing that whatever comes carries a gift. Maybe you're listening to this in the stillness of night, or in the calm of an early morning, feeling the world slow down just enough for you to breathe. Believe me, that's no illusion. It's the universe's way of saying you are exactly where you're meant to be. Everything is aligning beat by beat, step by step to bring you closer to the truth of who you are. And soon, as each piece begins to glow in the dark, you'll understand that this quiet phase isn't idle at all. It's moving, expanding, guiding you closer to the light of awakening. One day, very soon, you'll realize the signs were never just messages. They were the doorway to a greater cleansing, a renewal of energy. And when that wave arrives, you won't hear the wind the same way again. You'll hear your own calling clear, calm, and vibrantly alive. When a candle is lit, its first act isn't to show you the path ahead. It's to reveal the shadows around it. In the same way, when your inner light begins to grow, not everyone will be able to stand close to it. Some will take a step back. Some will look at you differently. And a few, the ones you once trusted the most, may quietly walk away without a word. Don't let that break your heart. It isn't loss. It's a sacred cleansing. The universe is gently removing what no longer resonates with your soul. When your energy shifts, everything around you must realign. Just like still water must settle before it can reflect the moon. Those who hurt you, those moments that left you confused, they all played a part in shaping the person you've become. They arrived to teach you something, sometimes how to love, and sometimes how to let go. And when their lesson is complete, they leave, creating space for a new light to enter. Not everyone who leaves is wrong, and not everyone who stays is right. But every departure has purpose. It's how the universe untangles the old threads around your heart so you can move lighter, freer, more at peace. You might feel an emptiness at first, but that space isn't a void, it's the womb of something new, like a forest after a fire, where tiny seeds push through the ash, reaching for the sun. Life always begins in the places that once looked like endings. There will be times when you hear what others say about you and feel misunderstood, but light doesn't need everyone to see it in order to shine. It only needs to be lit in the right place, at the right time. People often fear what they don't yet understand, so let compassion go before you. Don't fight, don't explain, just smile. You no longer need to argue to be seen, you only need to keep shining. When you stop clinging to what has already fulfilled its purpose, you'll feel an unmistakable relief, as if you've finally set down a heavy stone you've carried for years. Your shoulders are empty now, but open wide to receive what's next. Sometimes, cleansing doesn't arrive with chaos. It comes quietly, a friendship cooling off, a job that no longer brings joy, a familiar place that suddenly feels too small. Don't resist it. These are signs you're being guided to a new frequency, a rhythm where peace isn't a luxury anymore, but the natural state of your soul. Look back on your journey. How many times did you think a loss was the end, only to find it opened a door? How many times did you break, only to rise stronger than ever? Those cracks, they're where the light enters, and when that light fills you, you'll realize nothing ever truly leaves. Every soul was simply playing its role in your story, arriving when you needed to learn, departing when you were ready to stand tall. Now, as the old fades away, you'll begin to sense a different kind of energy, softer, clearer, more honest. It no longer demands attention, it simply exists. It's so quiet, you can hear your heartbeat sync with the pulse of the universe. And within that harmony, something miraculous is forming. No more clashes, no more losses, only awakening. The moment you begin to understand the beauty of being seen not by the eyes of others but by the soul itself, from here, your path deepens. Light is no longer something to hold on to, but something that flows effortlessly from you. And in that flow, you learn the most precious truth, the freedom of simply being yourself. Because once the heart is cleansed and the noise has quieted, what remains is the whisper of truth. A whisper that feels familiar, your own voice, calling you home to the peace that was never lost, only waiting to be remembered. There are seasons in life when you've tried to make yourself smaller, just to fit in. You've shrunk in noisy conversations, nodded when you wanted to say no, smiled when your heart wanted to speak. You once believed that being gentle, agreeable, and quiet would keep everything peaceful. But one day you realize kindness that costs your soul is no longer peace. From deep within, a part of you began to stir the part you buried under years of pleasing, of keeping the world comfortable. That part wants to breathe again, to live truthfully, to be seen for who you really are, no mask, no performance, just you, raw, whole, enough. And then it hits you, your light has never harmed anyone. It only feels too bright for those not ready to face their own. But the souls meant for you, they recognize you instantly. No explanations, no hiding. Your light meets theirs, and in that instant they smile, as if they've finally found home. People often say freedom means going wherever you want, but true freedom is being yourself, wherever you are. It's not about escaping others, it's about stopping the quiet betrayal of pretending just to be loved. When you stop trying to be pleasant and start being real, you've already chosen light over fear. Let me tell you something simple. There was once someone who lived their whole life trying to please others. Every time they wanted to speak their truth, they swallowed it, afraid of being left behind. One day, they finally stopped and asked themselves, if I keep pretending, who's going to live my life for me? That question soft as a breath woke something ancient inside them. And from that moment, they began to live honestly, even if it meant walking alone. You're standing at that same threshold now, between shrinking further or stepping fully into your light. And the miracle is, when you do step forward, the world softens, the right people find you, the ones who no longer align drift away, gently, like wind. Not because they're wrong, but because your frequency has changed. So let your heart stay soft. Stop trying to be perfect in the eyes of others. The truth is, the world doesn't need more perfect people. It needs people brave enough to be real. Souls willing to say, I don't know, I need time. I'm still learning how to love myself. That's the real beauty, the beauty of humanity, of honesty, of quiet compassion. Every time you choose to live authentically, you offer a blessing to the world. You give others permission to do the same, to stop pretending, to stop performing. In your truth, others rediscover their own courage. You may not realize it yet, but when you start living from your essence, the energy around you shifts. The air feels lighter, conversations go deeper, the people who drained you fade away, and peaceful souls start finding their way toward you. That's how you know you're back on your true frequency, the one made of truth and freedom. Ask yourself this: when was the last time you allowed yourself to be seen completely without filters, without fear, without trying to fit someone else's view? Maybe the answer isn't today. But believe me, even one small step toward that truth will bring a part of you back to life, day by day. And when your soul begins to breathe deeply in that honesty, you'll understand freedom doesn't come from outside. It blossoms from within, like a flower that has waited patiently for the right light. And that light has always been you. In this slow, sacred rhythm of the moment, you'll sense a quiet shift. The noise fades. The need to convince disappears. There's only you, calm, radiant, open, ready to receive the next miracles meant for your journey. Because once the soul is truly seen, the next natural step is always an opening where new doors begin to move, softly but surely, leading you toward the blessings you've been waiting for all along. Sometimes blessings don't arrive with thunder or fireworks. They come in the smallest, most delicate movements, so subtle that if you don't pause, you'll never notice them. An unexpected message, a simple invitation, a kind glance in a busy morning, each one quietly aligning to build the new path unfolding before you. You don't need to rush anymore. You don't need to prove yourself. You don't need to trade pieces of your soul just to be seen. When your heart finds peace, the universe naturally adjusts its rhythm to match yours. Everything you need, work, opportunity, abundance, recognition begins to move toward you as effortlessly as breathing. True prosperity doesn't come from control. It comes from knowing when to stop pushing and allowing the current to carry you. Like water, abundance never flows toward noise or force. It moves where things are quiet, open, and ready to receive. When you stop worrying, stop calculating, stop resisting that current finds you, because in the end, money is just another form of energy. You used to believe you had to do more to have more. But now you see sometimes you need to do less. Less fear, less comparison, less resistance. When you live in alignment with who you truly are, the right things naturally find you. This is the first miracle of your new chapter. You've stopped searching for your worth in success. Your energy itself is the worth. Everywhere you go, you bring calm. Everyone you meet feels peace. And in a world obsessed with running, those who can stand still are the richest of all. Think about it, the best opportunities never show up when you're tense. They appear when you're relaxed, smiling, doing what you love, or simply grateful for a quiet morning. That's when your frequency is highest. That's when the universe notices you. You don't have to pray in perfect words. Just whisper "thank you" when sunlight lands softly on your shoulder or when the wind brushes your hair. Gratitude is the most beautiful invitation you can send to the universe. It says, "I am ready to receive, not because I lack, but because I am worthy." Sometimes blessings aren't measured in numbers, but in the feeling of wholeness that fills you even when nothing outside has changed. Peace, after all, is the highest form of prosperity. When the heart is calm, everything around it rearranges to match that calm. You begin attracting good people, clear opportunities, and even unexpected financial gifts. None of it is coincidence. It's the reflection of a healed soul. The truly wealthy aren't those who have the most, but those who savor the small things they already have. A warm cup of tea, a real conversation, a simple, ordinary day. When you cherish these moments, your energy turns the world fertile around you. Work, abundance, relationships, they all begin to grow, nourished by the light of your gratitude. If you're hearing this right now, pause for a moment. Close your eyes. Think of one thing you're truly grateful for today. A person, a memory, maybe just the breath moving in and out of your chest. Let that gratitude spread through your body, a quiet warmth, soft but unmistakable, flowing through your heart. That is the energy of a miracle. When gratitude becomes your rhythm, you stop asking, "When will blessings come?" because you realize they never left. They were only waiting for you to be peaceful enough to see them. And from that peace, another door begins to open, not the door of material gain, but the door of the heart, where recognition, love, and true connection begin to reach you softly, deeply, like the first breeze carrying the promise of the next miracle already on its way to you. There are people who enter your life only to teach you how to love, and then quietly leave, like the wind. And there are others who return not to begin again, but to close a chapter that has long been waiting for peace. When they appear, you won't tremble like before. The fear of being hurt or forgotten will be gone. You'll simply smile softly but deeply because now you understand. Not every return is a second chance. Sometimes it's acknowledgement. That person might bring words they couldn't say before, a quiet "I'm sorry," a grateful look, or just a silence long enough for you to realize your heart is calm again. They're no longer a test. They're a mirror showing you how much you've grown. When they say, "I see you," it no longer brings tears from longing. It brings peace, because finally, you see yourself. You once loved with everything you had. You gave, you sacrificed, you hurt, believing that real love must come with pain. But real love doesn't need to break you to be real. It's the kind of love where you can be wholly yourself, not a version someone else wants to see. It's when you no longer need to ask, "Do they love me?" Because you can feel it in their listening, in their quiet, steady presence that asks for nothing in return. And maybe, right now, someone new is making their way toward you slowly, gently, without drama. This love will not feel like the ones before. It won't be a flame that burns bright then fades. It will be a warm light on the porch, a place you can come home to after long days. They won't make your heart race with fear of losing them. They'll make you breathe deeper because you'll feel safe. No more games. No more silence to test loyalty. No more endless conversations trying to fix what's already broken. Instead, mornings filled with laughter, simple words that carry weight, hands that remind you peace still exists in this world. They won't arrive to fill an emptiness. They'll come to build a space with you, one where both can breathe in the same rhythm of calm. This love won't ask you to lose yourself. It will help you see yourself more clearly. They won't need proof of your worth, because they've seen it from the very first glance, not with their eyes, but with their soul. And when two souls recognize each other, they don't need reasons. They simply know. Perhaps they've met in a dream, in another life, or in that quiet faith that true love still exists. If you've ever loved until you were empty and thought your heart could never open again, believe this: it never truly closed. It was only waiting for the right frequency for love that feels like breathing, not falling. When it arrives, you won't feel pulled down. You'll feel lifted light as air, strong as light itself. The world out there is noisy, so many love out of fear, out of loneliness, out of need. But the love coming toward you doesn't rise from fear, it grows from fullness. It doesn't demand validation. It doesn't need conditions. It simply happens when two hearts that already know how to love themselves find each other and say, "We don't need each other to survive, but we choose to walk this path together." And perhaps the most beautiful part of this season isn't that someone will stand beside you, but that you've learned how to love in a healthy way, starting with yourself. When you love yourself, you stop seeking someone to fill your emptiness. You open the door only to share your light. This kind of love is no longer a storm, it's a home. A place where you can set your heart down without fear it will be broken. A warm place not because it's perfect, but because it's real. And when you've learned to live inside that home, you'll begin to hear new sounds, no longer the call of longing, but the gentle hum of purpose. Because true love always leads you closer to the reason you were born. And in that deeper layer of love, a new door begins to open, the door of awakening, of calling, of rebirth. There's something strange about the dreams that truly belong to you. No matter how deeply you've buried them, they always find their way back. Like a seed hidden beneath layers of dark earth, waiting patiently for one drop of rain, one ray of sun, to rise at exactly the right moment. And now, this is that moment. The seed you planted long ago is stirring, even if you've forgotten you ever placed it there. Maybe it's a dream you once abandoned, a gift you thought too small to matter, or simply the quiet desire to live in harmony with your soul. Whatever it is, it's waking. Not because the world has changed, but because you have. You've walked through enough darkness to understand that light isn't something you chase outside yourself, it's the flame you kindle from within. This isn't coincidence. When your heart begins to align with its own truth, everything in the universe begins to rearrange. The people you're meant to meet, the opportunities waiting for you, the signs you need to notice, they're all moving gently, precisely, toward you, as if an invisible hand were weaving the threads of destiny back together. You'll start to sense it in repeating dreams, in numbers that appear again and again, in the feeling that something big is approaching even if you can't name it yet. Don't be afraid. This isn't randomness. It's the new frequency of your soul rising. You've faced delays, setbacks, and moments of doubt, wondering if you were falling behind. But the truth is, no one is ever late in the plan of the universe. Everything arrives right on time. Every pause, every loss, every detour, each one was preparing you to hold the light that is now being given to you. When we're young in spirit, we beg for miracles. But when we grow wiser, we become the miracle for someone else. That's when you understand. Your purpose isn't in fame or success, but in the quiet influence you leave on the world. You might not realize it, but someone out there is watching the way you live, to find courage for their own life. A word you speak, a kind act you offer, even the way you stay gentle when life is hard, it all ripples outward. That's what it truly means to lead by light. Not everyone is chosen to be a torchbearer. But when your light becomes steady, the universe starts sending you the souls who need it. They won't come for you to heal them. They'll come to awaken with you. Every encounter now carries a sacred purpose. Every story, every coincidence, is part of something greater. Don't rush to ask, what's next? The universe never hurries. She simply arranges things so that by the time you arrive, the doors are already open. And once you see that, peace settles in. The anxiety fades. You begin to trust that every slow step is still part of the divine rhythm. Let your light grow quiet. True light doesn't shout to be seen. It simply exists, warm, real, unforced, and it spreads naturally. People won't see it with their eyes. They'll feel it in their hearts. And that stillness within you, that's your greatest strength. It can touch others without a single word. Now you're standing between what was and what will be, the past closing in gratitude, the future opening in peace. Allow yourself to be reborn, not into someone new, but back into who you've always been before the world told you to dim your light. You've come so far that there's nothing left to prove. Just walk slowly, breathe deeply, and know that everything meant for you is already finding its way. When you live in harmony with your purpose, the world around you begins to change quietly, like dawn unfolding after a long night. And in that soft morning light, you'll realize the most beautiful truth of all. Rebirth isn't about starting over. It's about continuing with a heart that has finally awakened. There are journeys that can't be measured in miles, only in the depth of the soul, and yours, Aries, has traveled through those very depths. You have stood inside the fire of your own trials, believing for a moment you might melt away, and yet you became the flame itself, brighter, warmer, and purer than ever before. Now, the world has begun to speak your name again, not in whispers of doubt or gossip, but in quiet recognition for the one who learned how to turn pain into strength. Your name now carries light, the light of someone who learned to rise with gentleness, whose soul found its own rhythm amid life's chaos. You have nothing left to prove. Every step you take, every act born from your heart, is proof enough. True light never needs advertisement, it spreads on its own. Your very energy has become a living prayer, a message to those still lost. That peace is real, and miracles always come when we stop chasing them. Gratitude is the key that opens every sacred door. When you're thankful for morning sunlight, for a glass of water, for a stranger's smile, the universe knows you've learned life's greatest lesson. You don't need more to be happy. You just need to feel deeper. From here on, your life won't follow the noise. You'll choose slower days, deeper love, gentler listening. Because you now understand the greatest things rarely shout. They arrive quietly, disguised as kindness, as small thank yous, as open hands that give without asking. If you ever forget your worth, remember this. The light you carry isn't only for you, it illuminates the path for others, for souls who don't yet know they too can rise and shine. Real light never keeps itself. It moves outward, softly, like breath. And someday, on an ordinary day, as you watch the sunset spill gold across the street, you'll feel warmth inside your chest. Not because something new has arrived, but because you finally see that everything you once prayed for, peace, love, recognition, was never gone. It was simply waiting for you to be ready to notice. Your journey has completed one circle and begun another, not carrying fear, but carrying light. You've learned to make life sacred, not through grand moments, but through quiet presence, through gratitude. Thank you for listening, for believing, for walking beside me through layers of shadow and light. Thank you for not giving up when the world felt like it was falling apart. Because of your strength, this light can now reach and warm other hearts. May you keep walking on this path of light where everything arrives on time, where every encounter carries meaning, and where every single day is worthy of gratitude. May your heart stay soft like the early morning, your eyes bright as the sunrise, and your life radiant, forever held in the love the universe has never stopped sending your way.